Alright, back again, Luke here. And if you remember from a couple of videos ago, I wound up putting up a video on this beast here. This was that Horty stick that I wound up kind of scrubbing up a little bit and changing the button design on here and trying to make it look a little bit more like a Neo Geo arcade control panel. And I was pretty pleased with this one. I really like the fact that it's pretty durable. It's a lot heavier than the original joystick for the Neo Geo AES. But one thing that I thought was, as much as I enjoyed these sticks here, I really wanted to have more of the arcadey type feel. So this morning what I did is I kind of woke up and I don't know, I had this like strange dream. It was like trying to do another kind of mod, and when I woke up this morning I just thought, okay, I'm just gonna go for it. So although I like this one here, I thought I'd upgrade it a little bit and go with something like this. Now if you remember here, this is the control panel from my Super Neo 29, my old one, that I had to strip down here because of having multiple issues with it. The thing was, the monitor was broken in the back, and it was just, taking up a lot of space and not a lot of stuff that I could do with it. I would have had to buy a lot of different parts for it, so I went and stripped it down and kept all the parts that I needed. So I had this control panel laying around, and what I thought is, it would be kind of cool to have the MVS control panel work on an AES system. So what I did is I modified this beast here. So if we take a look at the bottom, you can see the Neo Geo AES here. We got two cords, and take a look at the bottom of this thing. And try and move around here a little bit so you guys can take a better look at it. What I did is I took a couple of Neo Geo CD controllers that I had that the fronts were all scratched up on. I got them pretty reasonably cheap from the auctions, and when I went and picked them up, or I got them home, I realized that they needed the micro switches put in them, and the top parts of them were all scratched up really bad. The plastic was cracked on them, so I thought, alright, well, if this was any other controller, if these controllers were in really good condition, I probably wouldn't have messed around with it, but since they were already pretty chopped up, figured I'd go ahead and do some modding here. So what I did is I wired in those Neo Geo CD controllers, the circuit boards here, and I had to do some wire hunting, which took a little bit of time to try and get everything sorted out. There's the other one over there. But I got everything wired up here. I made a couple of holes here and slid the wires through there. And I'm going to eventually put a bottom onto this thing here, so it'll be a flat bottom. I might even put some rubber pads on the bottom so it can sit on a table or something like that. But I figured this would be about as close as I could get here to making my Neo Geo AES to an MVS. And yeah, so this is what I whipped up this morning. It took me about an hour or so to find all the pinouts, the right pinouts, and get everything situated, put together right. And what I did is I left the connectors on here. I just put some wires on the inside and then hot glued around them. So if any case I needed this control panel again, or if something happened and it didn't work, I could always use it back on the MVS again. So, or the other Super Neo 29 that I got over here. But nonetheless, it's up and running, and I figured I'd show you guys this thing in action here. So what I've done with it is I've wired all the buttons up here, so all of these buttons are to the one player, these ones are to the second player. For the select button in the middle, which is normally used for a multi-slot board, like 2 or 4 or 6 or so, what this one is the actual select button, just like the Neo Geo controller. I have this one hooked up to player 1. I didn't see a point of having it hooked up to player 2. It'd probably just cause a lot of issues, so either person can hit the select button and pause the game at any time, so that makes it kind of nice. But it's a nice, big, wide control panel, which will make this much, much more fun, I think, for playing 2-player. So let's turn this beast on here, and I'll show you. I got Metal Slug 3 in here. What I also liked about it too is I could put the marquee in here as well and be able to see what game, and not like you can't see it right here, but it's still kind of cool to have a little bit of some artwork here in the controller. But we'll fire this thing on, and you can probably see over there, this thing's probably not very loud. So you can But yeah, just a bit of a crazy idea here, and worked out pretty well. So let's see over there, start button, and then so you can choose one player here. That's all set up. 2 players.
Start.
But probably a little bit hard to see here, but nonetheless, can't really do too much with one hand here. But it has that nice, really arcadey feel to it now, because you know, it's basically an arcade control. You know, it's all set up. It's pretty massive. It's got a nice weight to it, and if I had some pegs on the bottom of it or something to keep it in place here, I think it'll work out really well. Let me go and turn this down a little bit. But yeah, just something kind of crazy and off the wall here. Figured I'd try and mess around with. Something that I've wanted for a while, to have a much bigger joystick, something that was a bit sturdier, had a little bit more room on it for 2 players, and it was all connected, you know, into one, which is what I got here now. So, but yeah, works fantastic. Just took a little bit of time to try and find the pinouts and things like that, and get it all wired up. But nonetheless, it's up and running, and I like it. Like I said, this one here, it's not too bad. But I mean, if you take a look at the difference, the size difference between the 2 of these things, I mean, there's a pretty big difference, and it's definitely a lot more fun. What I've noticed is playing on this one compared to playing with this one. There's just a lot more room, a lot more space. So. But the way that I have it wired up here, you can disconnect controller 2 or the player 2 wire and just play it with one. One player is fine. Since one player has all the stuff wired up to it, like the select button and the start button, you can hit pause at any time. Pause it right now. It's on pause here. Probably can't tell, but game's paused there. So, and there's no reason why you would just have player 2 wired up just by itself. It just doesn't make too much sense. So I put you know, the select button on player 1 side, so it'd be easy to use. But I just kind of thought that'd be kind of neat, and it works out really well. And I think it's something where if they were to come out with another control panel or something like that for the Neo Geo, it would be kind of awesome if somebody made something like this, you know, if they made an aftermarket one. It's, you know, getting a little bit late for the Neo Geo to get any new kind of, you know, peripherals and things like that made for it, but I mean, if you're willing to do some tinkering around and some homemade mod type stuff, you can create something like this and enjoy it just as much. But just wanted to share this with you guys here. Nothing too long, but yeah, that's about all for me for right now. Like always, I'll put up another video here soon, so thanks for watching.